You got all kinds of commerce. Look at this. Taking apart the oysters and clams and getting the good tidbits out of it. That happens daily in the coastal regions of China. And many more things. You got commerce everywhere. You know, this is Main Street commerce. This is how it used to be in the West and how it should be, because Main Street commerce, medium to small businesses, that's what drives an economy, and that's what has support for a thrifty middle class, and that it improves the quality of life. That's just elementary. That's not rocket science. Yet you try to tell some politicians and economists that, and they'll argue with you until the end, until the bread lines form that the way to grow an economy is through creation of credit, or in the case of the U.S. economy, debt creation. They turn into credit, and then imagine that's going to drive the economy when no one really considers the fact that you got to pay the piper in the end. So, hand to mouth, that's China, right? That's how China can survive through this time period, is that they just learn from the lessons they've learned for many years. Hand to mouth. Make a yuan, spend it locally, and make sure that you don't spend more than you have taken in. And that's no loans, no credit.
So what does all this building mean? Well, basically, when you look at the Asian miracle, Japan's post-war economy since 1945 up until 1980s, when Japan peaked, and you look at China's economy from 1970 through currently, you'll see that there's many similarities to what had happened in America during the first 100 or so years of the American miracle, the economy that propelled America to be the #1 economic force in the world. And when you see all these buildings and you see all this infrastructure, roads, you see that the parallels are there, where you're building out an economy based on real things that you build and things that have real value in the physical world, whereas with other economies, you don't necessarily see that. It's not really transferred from doing projects, credit creation, hiring the labor, getting the resources, getting it done, and turning out an actual, tangible, usable thing, whether it be products or infrastructure or whatever. So that's how I see the Chinese miracle, the miracle that is the Chinese economy since 1970, is that they're borrowing the American system, just as Japan did post-World War II. Now, of course, there are some differences and major differences, but for the most part, in all three cases, you see that there's like a neo-mercantilism. There's a lot of small businesses being able to create value, a lot of support from the government for new ideas, small businesses, even in some cases government backing on things that are productive for that local economy. Of course, China being a little bit different because they're so export driven, but they've kind of hedged that up with a lot of domestic spending and infrastructure projects, which now we're seeing the cracks in that. But for the most part, it's benefited them. And only recently we've seen that China's shadow banking system and debt problems get to be of a major concern, well over 200% of GDP. But one thing that China has going forward is that they've got a command and control system. They own their central banks. And there's other ways that they can try to manage a financial collapse, which is inevitably coming. It just depends if it's a hard landing or a soft landing. Many people disagree on this. Japan is in a much worse situation, and part of that has to do with Fukushima, which I don't have time to talk about now. But that's, in a nutshell, kind of how I see the Asian miracle. Now, there's a couple links here that you could take a look at that might bring some light on the situation and help you understand a little bit about what has happened in Asia and to a lesser degree in India as well. There's definitely some parallels there. But it's not exactly light reading, but take a few minutes to take a look at it. It might give you some ideas.